Yep, it's me again. They hate me, that's why they give a fuck about me at the same time as always. JD Miles. The MGTOWs they love to hate. Even the ones that claim everybody loves to hate them, loves to hate MGTOW at the same time as always. This is why my haters keep me relevant to this day. And I'm back again. In which y'all see the title discussion. Misandrist man hating female don't like having a son, but still wants to be married. And yes, you could before I even go any further, y'all gonna spot the obvious hypocrisy coming from this retarded fuck ass femitard, man hating femitard. And the irony of it all is she hates all men, but then wants to cry but then this is the exact same female who wants to cry and bitch about misogyny. Now what has Uncle JD been saying? We live in a society where one part of sexism is demonized, while at the same time, the other side of sexism is praised. That's right. Misogyny is so demonized, while at the same time, misandry is so praised. Oh, it's okay for a woman to be sexist and hate men, but it's so wrong when men are sexist and hates women. And they think that what they're doing is gonna work. No, it doesn't. And as Uncle JD stated before, you can't have one part of sexism without the other. And if these man hating bitches believe that misandry doesn't exist, guess what? Misogyny doesn't exist either. This is the game we're playing now. But I ain't gonna babble any longer. Shout out to shout out to Jesus Ed, the host of the Coffee Pod. I'll leave the link to his full video in the description box. Y'all could go check it out. But without further ado, let's get into it, shall we?
Shelf, let's get it. This might be controversial, but I obviously don't care. I always tell my potential partners, if I ever get pregnant with a son, I'm returning it to the sender because I don't want to raise one. I don't care. Notice how she said potential partners. And in case you didn't hear what she said because you weren't paying attention, and it's just worth repeating one more time because it's literally crazy. Let's check it out one more time. This might be controversial, but I obviously don't care. I always tell my potential partners, if I ever get pregnant with a son, I'm returning it to the sender because I don't want to raise one. I don't care.
And she thinks she's dating, relationship, and marriage material saying that type of shit. Yeah, marinate on that. Let's continue.
The sender. You're talking about deleting a baby just because it's male. Just because it's male. This is probably why all her partners have been potential partners. Let's keep listening. I don't care. I might as well be one of
Facts. And yes, let's put emphasis on potential partners.
Those people that flip out and cry when they're having a girl at a gender reveal because I do not want to have a son. I don't want to raise one. I do not want to potentially raise someone's abuser. I don't want to potentially raise someone in this society. I just don't.
Boy, that's quite the assumption there. Bitch, how do you know that the son you raise will be an abuser? How do you know that the son will raise will grow up being that type of man? You don't. This is your assumption, and a very sexist assumption at that. Now, before I go any further, I want to know, who is that bitch that sat there and said misandry doesn't exist? Yeah, bitch, I'm talking to you, the one who claimed that misandry doesn't exist, because this dumb bitch is going to give out an Amazon Prime example of why misandry does exist, thus destroying your argument even further Let's continue.
The possibility of raising someone that doesn't contribute to a woman suffering in some way. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I don't think that it's worth having one.
Yep. Femintard confirmed.
This is a woman. That's the end of the video, but we have 3 more to play that will prove that this is a woman who believes that men in general are evil. But I find that hard to understand, seeing as how she plans to still somehow get married.
I don't get it either. Men are evil. Men are this. Men are that. Yet she still wants to get married. She still wants a man, despite all her misandrist bullshit that she's been spinning out her fat lips. Let's continue.
I really do feel like I'm going to marry somebody that works at Trader Joe's, because sometimes when they're talking to me, I'm like, what are we doing after this?
So you might be thinking, well, she can't possibly think all men are evil because she plans.
And the crazy part about it is that, let's be upfront and real about these Femintards. They want to push the Femitard agenda, while at the same time they still want to have the traditional role, both at the same time. Or in her case, she hates men. She hates and despises men, but she still wants a man to marry her. Make that retarded fuck-ass logic make sense. Let's continue.
To marry a man. No, she really believes that all men have a deep-seated hate for women.
While at the same time, she has a deep-seated hatred towards men. Make that make sense.
There are a lot of chicks online who have the same type of theory. That whole idea of deleting particular gender really reminds me of...
You don't have to take Jesus' word for it. Look at all those bitches I respond to with that mindset. Let's continue.
The now banned YouTuber Cynthia G, who is encouraging black women to delete.
God damn. I want to say I know how to pause, but that's a photo, and it's speaking loud for itself.
Black boys and not fall through with those pregnancies and only give birth to young black girls. And it went unnoticed for a long time until people began to take a closer look at her content. Hey guys, did you?
And that's a fact. And for the record, how does she know for a fact that she's going to get nothing but daughters? So basically, if she gets nothing but sons, she's going to return all of them to sender. Be a childless female for the rest of her life, getting a dog dying alone because she hates men. While at the same time, she still want a man to marry her retarded fuck ass. Make that make sense. But yeah, fellas, check this out. One man responded to this retarded fuck ass man hating misandrist of a female. Let's hear what he has. Let's hear his response to this man hater.
The possibility of raising someone that doesn't contribute to a woman suffering in some way. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I don't think that it's worth having one.
Do you know how chronically online you have to be to have a take like this? People that literally walk past, drive past, and interact with hundreds of men on a daily will jump through enormous hoops to try to turn all men into some dangerous monolith. By your framework, you believe that a man's life is not worth the salt on the ground because of potentiality. What's next? You might as well say that we should get rid of all the boys and the men that are already here. You know what I mean? Because it's never too late to keep those animals from walking around. People like this love to pretend as if their argument is based on probability. When in reality, if it actually was, they would keep this same energy with women as a whole, or they just wouldn't make these nonsensical claims in the first place. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Imagine using the crime statistics to make the same exact argument for something like race. You literally have to completely ignore the majority of men, including the innovators, the role models, the protectors, the providers, the heroes, the fathers, the sons, and the innocents in order to rationalize these kinds of takes. People like this will continue to push the gender war, and then when you call them out on it, they'll say, well, I didn't make myself this way.
And that's a fact. And yeah, to all you motherfuckers in there doubting the gender war, bitches like her is the reason why the gender war is going to continue on and on and on. In fact, the gender war has been going on for decades now. But y'all motherfuckers act like, oh, the gender war doesn't exist. Yeah, go back under your rock, because that's where you've been at this whole entire time when all this shit's been going down. But let's continue.
They'll blame men and capitalism somehow, as if they don't have agency over their own actions.
Hi guys, please stop paying to watch me.
Oh, wow.
Sad. Stop attempting to rationalize generalized hate, especially if you don't keep that same energy outside, especially if you don't keep that same energy to these people's faces, and especially if you don't keep that same energy with literally any other group.
And that's a fact. And that is a motherfucking fact. And fellas, you'd be surprised on the internet. On the internet, they have this persona to whereas, oh, all men are evil, all men are bad, all men are this, that, and the third. But in the real world, their persona changes. And they don't have that same energy in the real world that they have on social media, especially TikTok, in which I already said, I don't give a fuck if they ban TikTok. I don't give a fuck if they ban TikTok, period. It has to go. And I don't care if I do piss off people by me saying this shit. Fuck your feelings if you're one. But keep in mind, this is the same TikTok that was okay for these Femintards to go on their platform, telling everybody to telling other women to kill all men. But this is the same TikTok that has a problem with having men's spaces on their platform. But they okay with Femitards pushing their misandry and their hatred towards men out the gate. But let's continue.
Crazy to me is on TikTok, this is the type of content that thrives. She's not saying, oh, I fear having the type of son who would be a danger to society. No, she's just using a blanket statement of basically saying all young boys, in her opinion, shouldn't be allowed life if she would have anything to do with it.
Which is a sexist statement, which is such a sexist statement. But as I said before, it's okay for women to be sexist, misandristic, and hate men on these platforms, but let a man go on social media saying the exact same shit about these females. Oh, these female babies need to be returned to sender, this, that, and the third. These would be the same females all up in arms crying and bitching about misogyny. Oh, that's right. Misogyny is demonized while misandry is praised. And they wonder why their bullshit isn't working. That's like sleeping with the football team to try to be a virgin. Let's continue.
She believes that all men hate women and somehow also plans to get married. There's so much confusion here. TikTok brain is a real thing. And in case you're like, oh, she can't possibly believe all men are like this, yeah, check it out.
One of the hardest posts to swallow.
Oh, now we come to the part where I'm really about to put my foot up her ass. As y'all know, Uncle JD hates hypocrites. Hates hypocrites here. But But listen to the same man-hating Femintard who hates men, and wishes that male babies be deleted, be the same Femintard crying and bitching about misogyny. Oh, men hating women, while at the same time she hates men. But let's continue.
Follow for me as a woman has been accepting that it really is all men. It's all of them. Even if it's not to an insane extent, like actively being violent towards women and things like that. To some degree, they participate in misogyny. To some degree, they are passive about it.
Bitch, have several seats and shut the fuck up forever. You gonna talk about this and that about men being a fucking man hater, but then want to fix your mouth crying and bitching about misogyny? You're the reason why these men are misogynistic towards women, because bitches like you. And I'm being brutally honest here. It's bitches like you the reason why y'all cry and bitch about misogyny. Oh, I get it. We all get it. It's okay for women to be in front of their cameras, showing the world just how much they hate men. But it's wrong. It's foul when these men are misogynistic. It's wrong and foul that these men hate women, while at the same time you hate men. And this is the hypocrisy I talk about. This is also the reason why Uncle JD don't want to hear shit about misogyny when you got bitches like her running around. We got women like her who hates men running around. But somehow we are supposed to be convinced that we are supposed to be convinced that misandry doesn't exist. Let's continue.
Have men in my life that I think highly of, but even with them, I know that to some degree they're okay with misogyny and they're okay with participating in it and the things that come with it.
Just like how you okay with misandry, you're okay with men getting killed, you're okay with male babies getting aborted. But here you are crying and bitching about misogyny. Bitch, have several seats and shut your hypocritical ass up forever, man hater. Let's continue.
So, yeah, every once in a while I'm like, I kind of don't want to talk to any of you guys ever again.
And I want to make it.
And your ass will never be married. And guess what? You could kiss your plans on getting married goodbye, because I doubt no man wants to deal with your ass either. And I'm being brutally honest about that shit too. But yeah, the hypocrisy is real. She hates men and wants male babies aborted, while at the same time she want to fix her mouth talking about misogyny. Have several seats and shut the fuck up forever, you sexist bitch. And I said what I had to say. If I want to watch the Coffee Pod's full video in its entirety, I'll leave the link into the description box. Go check it out. Let them know that JD Mouse sent you. But I said what I had to say. I'm done with a misandrist, man-hating Femintard female who wants to cry and bitch about misogyny, and I'm out this bitch. Later. What a hypocrite.